In this video, I'm going to talk about 5 things I love about living in Reston, Virginia, and 5 things that I hate, and we're getting at it right now. Boom! Hey everybody, it's David, your favorite realtor. It's another beautiful day right here in Northern Virginia. And if it's your first time here on my channel, please consider subscribing because every single week I am releasing awesome real estate related videos that's going to help your buying or selling needs right here in Northern Virginia. So I get calls, texts, emails almost every single day from folks just like you who are relocating or moving right here in Northern Virginia, and I absolutely love it. So if you're even thinking about relocating or moving here to the area, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me a handwritten note, however you gotta get a hold of me, I got your back. The pros and cons of living in Reston, Virginia. So I'm gonna start off with the things that I love about living in Reston, Virginia. And the first thing is gonna be Reston Town Center, also known as RTC. Reston Town Center is gonna be the crown jewel of all Reston. So Reston Town Center is gonna be a mixed-use development featuring luxury condos, offices, retail stores, restaurants, grocery stores, and more. And if you happen to live in one of the condos in Reston Town Center and work in Reston Town Center, you literally would never have to leave Reston Town Center. It's almost like a city in itself. Plenty of entertainment, plenty of fun. You got the movie theater, you can shop for groceries, go out for drinks, go out for dinner, one-stop shop. Very, very convenient living at its best. It's probably one of my favorite things about living in Reston. The second reason why I love living in Reston, Virginia, it is going to be because of the job opportunities and employment. Some of the biggest companies in the whole world are actually located right here in Reston. You got Google, you have Facebook, I know you've heard of them before, IBM, Oracle, Costellas, Leidos, Verizon. So many companies have had their home base right here in Reston, Virginia. I've helped so many clients over the years relocate through all over the world right here to Reston, either for job transfers or for the job opportunities and employment that Reston, Virginia has to offer. Now the third reason why I love living in Reston, Virginia is Dulles Airport. Dulles Airport's made an international airport. Depending on where you live in Reston, it may be 10 minutes away or 15 minutes away, but it's a very easy commute to get to Dulles Airport. A lot of people live in Reston, travel a lot through work, or they like to travel for vacation and fun. So it's very convenient having a major international airport, within striking distance to wherever you live in Reston. Now the fourth reason why I love living in Reston, Virginia is going to be having the metro system right here in Reston. You can take the metro to Tysons, Arlington, downtown DC, even into Maryland. And the best part about the metro is, right now there's only currently one right there in Wheelie Avenue, but slated for 2021, it's going to be the new metro stop in Reston Town Center. It's going to give you even more options and easier access to commute into Tysons and downtown. Very convenient if you want to go see the Washington Nationals, play some baseball, or go see the Washington Wizards play some b-ball. So a great reason about living in Reston is going to be the metro stops. Now the fifth thing that I love about living in Reston, Virginia, it is going to be Reston Association. Now a lot of people may not agree with this, but I'm going to give you my reasons why. So pretty much wherever you live in Reston, I'll probably say about 95% of Reston, you can be associated with Reston Association. There's a lot of cool perks and amenities that you get with being with Reston Association. You get access to 15 swimming pools, which is actually perfect for right now because it's like 95 degrees outside. Over 50 tennis courts. So if you're a tennis player, you're gonna love living in Reston. Also, over 55 miles of trails and hiking. So if you're very outdoorsy, you want to get outside, there's trails all over the place in Reston. Also, you get access to 4 lakes. Reston has 4 major lakes. You can't put a boat in there, but you can go canoeing, paddle boarding. You can actually have a boat, but it has to be an electric motor and it has to be under 3 horsepower. But you get access to the lakes, you get access to the pools, the trails, so many amenities that Reston Association has to offer, and that is why it's one of my favorite reasons about living right here in Reston, Virginia. So I'm actually gonna throw a bonus pro about living in Reston. So when you live in Reston, I almost feel like it's almost the center of all of Northern Virginia. You can pretty much get almost anywhere in Northern Virginia within 30 minutes, whether it's Georgetown, DC, Tysons Corner, the wineries out in Leesburg, Prince William County. Everywhere in Northern Virginia is going to be pretty much a 30-minute drive from Reston. Obviously, you gotta take into account the traffic, but that's one of the best things and a very underrated thing about living in Reston is gonna be how close you are to pretty much everything in all of Northern Virginia. Now, the first con of living in Reston, Virginia is gonna be older homes. So as of right now, there's over 22,000 homes in Reston, and of those 22,000, almost 88% were built before the year 2000, with a lot of those being built in the 70s and 80s. Obviously, with older homes, you can have much higher ticket items to replace, like the roofs, HVACs, remodeling your kitchen and bathrooms. Those expenses add up over time. So the homes are gonna be a lot older, especially compared to homes out in Loudoun County. Now, the flip side to that is there's still an abundance of new construction being built in Reston right now. So if you don't want to deal with older homes, you can absolutely get a brand new construction condo or townhouse, and those are absolutely stunning. So the second con of living in Reston, Virginia is gonna be weather. Summers are brutal, they're humid, they're muggy. Winter, we can get blizzards. I've been here before, we've had, back-to-back blizzards and, almost 30 inches of snow. We have very short springs, we have very short falls. We actually get a lot of rain in the springtime. I remember one time a couple of years ago, I think it rained 24 out of 28 days. One day it'll be 30 degrees, next day it's 80, and vice versa. So weather's kind of all over the place. But you know what? You get used to it, and really, the more I think about it, it's actually not that bad at all. Now, the third con of living in Reston, Virginia is gonna be traffic. That's an unfortunate part of all of Northern Virginia is massive amounts of traffic. Like if you go during rush hour to get to like Reston, let's say to maybe like Tyson's Corner, it could take 30, 40, 50 minutes, or especially even coming back. Even in Reston, if you're just traveling from one part of Reston to another, it can be a lot of traffic, that 5 o'clock gridlock. So unfortunately, that's, it's something you have to deal with living pretty much anywhere in Northern Virginia. But you kind of get used to it over time. You kind of learn the tricks of the trade, perfect times to leave, maybe going to the Dulles Toll Road or take the metros instead to kind of help save you some time. But when you live here, you get used to it and you'll find ways around it. Now, the fourth con, if you're living in Reston, you're absolutely gonna be going to Reston Town Center. And unfortunately, they do charge for parking. Not quite exactly sure what it is right now. Maybe it's like $1 an hour, but they started paying for parking about 4 years ago. There's still an uproar over that right now. A lot of people don't like it, especially when you had years with not having to pay for parking. But the flip side is though, anytime after 5 o'clock, you don't have to pay for parking. And on weekends, you don't have to pay for parking. So it's just a very small inconvenience. It may be, $3, $4 for you to pay for parking if you go there during the daytime. But, that is one of the cons of living in Reston is going to be having to pay for parking in Reston Town Center. Now, the last con of living in Reston is going to be a lot of townhouses and condos. You may end up having to pay for 2 HOA dues. So pretty much all of Reston, as I mentioned earlier, is going to be part of the Reston Association. But a lot of condos will have their own condo fees, and a lot of townhouses will have their own individual cluster fees. So you will end up having to pay a lot of the times for 2 HOAs. Now, the good part about this is with the Reston Association, you only pay it once a year. I think it's around $700 right now. So at least you're not paying for 2 HOAs every single month. Knock out the Reston Association once a year, and you still get everything that Reston Association has to offer, like the lakes, the pools, the tennis courts, the trails. So at the end of the day, it's not the worst thing in the world, but obviously we only rather have to pay for 1 HOA than 2. So overall, Reston, Virginia is not a great place to live. It's an awesome, amazing place to live. Whether you're a young professional, just starting off a family, or have a huge family, there's something for everybody right here in Reston, Virginia. So if you're even thinking about moving or relocating to Reston, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me that handwritten note. I'm always here to help you, and hope you have an awesome rest of your day.